Congressman Paul, the most commonly cited statistic for the number of illegal immigrants living in the United States is 12 million people. Is it desirable, is it even practical, to try to send them all home? If the next Congress passes comprehensive immigration reform that includes a path to citizenship, will you sign it, or will you support sending the 12 million home?
I'm very sorry, but I didn't hear your last sentence because of the acoustics.
In the next Congress, if the next Congress passes immigration reform that includes a path to citizenship, will you sign it, or will you support sending the 12 million home?
I would not sign a bill like you described because it would be construed and it would be amnesty, and I haven't supported amnesty. I also think that it's pretty impractical to get an army in this country to round up 12 or maybe 20 million. But I do believe that we have to stick to our guns on obeying the law, and anybody who comes in here illegally shouldn't be rewarded. And that would be the case. But I see the immigration problem as a consequence of our welfare state. Welfare because we encourage people not to work here, but the welfare we offer the people who come, they get free medical care, they get free education, they bankrupt our hospitals are closing, and it should not be rewarded. That means that if you don't round them up, you don't reward them, you don't give them citizenship. At the same time, you can't solve this problem until you get rid of the welfare state, because in a healthy economy, immigrants wouldn't be a threat to us. There would probably be a desire for more because we would be starved for workers. But today, they have become scapegoated because of the weak economy and the lowering of our standard of living.
Thank you, sir. Senator Brownback.
Thanks, Race, for the tough question. The American people are for immigration. They don't support illegal immigration. That's what they want to see take place. They want a legal system. They're for legal immigration. They're not for illegal immigration. We've been through this debate now for a couple of years. They want to see us secure the border, and that's something I will push and do and have voted for and will in the future. They want to see us have enforcement at the work site, and that's something that I will do and push and enforce as well, because that's the key attraction, not the only one, but it's the key attraction at the work site. I will not support new paths to citizenship. I do think in the future we should look at different work visa type programs as a way to be able to deal with the problem that you're identifying, which is the realistic problem of where we are today.
Congressman Tancredo.
12 to 20 million people in this country illegally. And that is the ultimate question, is what do we do about that situation today? Because we can all rave about how we're going to secure the borders, which I'm glad to hear, by the way, these newfound positions with regard to the borders and its security. Great. Happy they're there. But you're right. What the real issues, what do we do about the people here? And I will tell you, when you use phrases like rounding them up, I mean, they are improperly used in this respect, because we're not talking about rounding people up. If you, in fact, simply enforce the law, I know that's a scary topic sometimes and a controversial attitude to take, but enforcing the law, especially the law against hiring people who are here illegally, you will see people returning home voluntarily. It is happening today in states all over this nation. That's exactly the key to this. You do not have to round people up. You simply have to enforce the law.
Thank you. Congressman Hunter.
Thank you, Davis. Thank you, Ray. The folks that are here illegally have to leave, and let me tell you why. Today, if you're a drywall contractor and you play by the rules and you pay $27 a loaded hour for each of your employees, you will be constantly undercut by contractors who use people who are here illegally. That's not fair to Americans who play by the rules. And we just talked about jobs a few minutes ago. That's one reason you have in certain areas, especially in the construction trades now, higher levels of unemployment. You have to build a border fence, and you've got to have a real border, not just for immigration issues, but also because of security issues. And right now, I wrote the law that extends that border fence 854 miles across Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and California. We need to build the border fence. It's the law, and when people come to this country, they got to knock on the front door, because the back door is going to be closed.
Ambassador Keyes.
Well, I think, especially in this context, it's important to remember a number of things. The border is a matter of security, first of all. And we have to make sure that we control it, or no laws we pass have any significance. People will still cross on their own terms. So the very first priority has to be to get back control, but we also have to remember why we lost control. Because these elites who have been under the thumb of certain corporate interests have an interest in cheapening the price of labor in America. Do you want to know who's first hurt by that cheapened price of labor? Black folks are first hurt, as they've been hurt in the rebuilding of New Orleans, in the rebuilding of other parts of the United States that were affected by those hurricanes. It's time we stopped fooling around with this issue. I see people, including a lot of the black liberals, more worried about what we do with illegal immigrants than they've ever been about the impact of illegal immigration on black Americans who have been in this country all along. And I'm sick of seeing it.
Governor Huckabee.
I don't believe the average American resents that people want to come here. I've said oftentimes we ought to get on our knees every night and thank God that we still live in a country that people are trying to break into, not one they're trying to break out of. But securing the border is something I think every one of us agree on. You've got to have a secure border, because otherwise our borders are not only open to illegal immigrants, but to somebody bringing a suitcase with a dirty bomb. But more importantly, if we're going to deal with the supply, you touch it at the point of the demand. And until something is done to touch the people who are employing illegal immigrants because of the very reason that they've talked about on this stage, to create what amounts to another version of slave labor, then we're never going to stop the flow. You're not going to get illegals to admit that they're here illegally because they're desperate enough to do anything to feed their families. What we have to do is to start putting the penalty on the people who are most benefiting from them, the employers who are using those laborers in order to keep from having to pay decent wages.
Governor, thank you.